Hello, my name is Joana Saahirah, and this is another message from the womb, which I call simplicity. I'm going to try to be short because these messages are very wide subjects, and I could be talking about them for hours. So, in terms of simplicity, there is something important I'd like to say. As a dancer, and I speak for myself, I include myself before anybody else. We tend to think that we need to make a lot of stuff happen. We need to think that the more movements we apply to our dance, the better dancers we will be, you know? And this is a very common and very big illusion in Egyptian dance because, point one, quantity is not quality. And we're really aiming for quality, unless you want to keep doing the exotic gymnastic Egyptian dance has been called, you know, and the way people are doing it, it's really not it, okay? So an exotic gymnastic, it's a set of movements, frenetic movements, hysterical movements very often that mean nothing. So you have quantity of vocabulary, but it means nothing, it's empty. It's like an aerobic class, it's like a gymnastic class. That's not dance. It's not dance. It's important to feel the difference. So simplicity relates to the ability to do less, to move from a place of authentic feeling, to tell a story, which is your story. It's not anybody else's story. It's your story. In order to be real, it has to come from inside. And if it comes from inside, it's yours. It's your story. It's not your neighbor's story. It's not your teacher's story. Now it's raining. I don't know if you can see it. It's beautiful. I know. So it's your story, not anybody's story. Yes? And believe that one word can be worth 1,000 words. Sometimes one movement, it's worth 1,000 empty movements. It depends on how much you put in that movement, how much truth comes in that movement. Sometimes a pause, a silence, is worth 1,000 movements. Sometimes just a word, just a little is worth 1,000 movements. So my point is, work on simplicity. Work on not minimizing your movement. You don't have to think in terms of maximizing or minimizing, but bring only what is worth sharing. Move when you mean it. Don't move just to fill the space, just to fill the void, and don't freak out when there is a pause, when there is a place where you don't feel like moving. If you don't feel like moving, don't move. Because there is the internal movement happening anyway. If you're really connected with the music and living the music, the dance never stops. Even if your body is not exteriorly moving, inside you are dancing. And that's energy coming. Because in Egyptian dance, you always have these two sides. You have a visual side and you have the energy side, which is not visual, but it's palpable. You can feel it, and it's often more powerful than the visual side. Okay, so sometimes you have a beautiful visual thing happening. Sometimes you are in absolute stillness, absolute pause. And everything worth saying is being said. And it's perfect. So don't feel you have to do intricate and complicated stuff. And, you know, I have to show them that I know how to do many flicks with my tummy and many this and many that. I have to prove them that I can do 1,000 movements in 1 second. It's not a circus act. It's not Cirque du Soleil. It is not your. It's not like you have an alien in your tummy wanting to be born. It's dance. It's a language. So say less, maybe, but say something meaningful. Don't go for complicated. When you go for complicated already, you're going for the wrong thing. Because the point is not doing something complicated, it's doing something meaningful, which can be filled with movements, and it can be very simple. One movement, two movements. I've seen this happen very often in Egypt through people who were not even professional dancers, you know, people who danced for me, friends, people in the street, neighbors, my musicians, you know, sometimes with one movement, two movements, three movements. Somebody who doesn't have the vocabulary, the quantity of tools to use, they are more powerful and more impactful as dancers than professional dancers when they are using their movement catalog. This is true. You know, you realize, oh my God, it's really not about the quantity of stuff. It's not about the quantity. Not in Egyptian dance and not in life as well. Because everything that applies to Egyptian dance, I discovered, applies to life. This is one of the reasons why I love it so much. Oh, my neighbor is coming. There are two birds who come singing for me in the tree. Sorry for the interruption. So, I hope you got the idea, and I hope you go for meaningful movement instead of quantity of movements. I hope you go for truth, what you really bring from inside, instead of having the quantity ghost over your head. You don't have to do 1,000 movements. You don't have to prove that you know every technique ever studied on planet Earth. Nobody cares. Fresh news. Nobody cares how many movements you know. But if you do something meaningful, they will care. But most important than that, you will care. You will be communicating from your soul. You will be healing yourself also. You will be releasing yourself. You will be transforming stuff that needs to be transformed. It's amazing. So, write down in your notebook, simplicity, which is very often the highest form of sophistication. Yeah. Much love. Many kisses, and I will see you all soon.